Hello, hi YouTube. I just wanted to give my little opinion and review of my Swiss Army knife. I kind of considered what I was going to get quite a while before I actually bought it. And I'm really happy with my purchase, and I think this is an awesome knife. I just wanted to explain why. First and foremost, it is a Victorinox Swiss Army knife, which, they sort of invented the multi-tool for the outdoors person. And they did it before the term multi-tool was even invented, I think. And they've got a great product line. And what's wonderful about Victorinox and Wenger and the Swiss Army knife people is that they put out so many different models with so many different blades and configurations that you can find the one that's right for you. So I would recommend that you go to a website called SAC Wiki, which stands for Swiss Army Knife Wikipedia or something like that. And they have every knife that's ever been made that could be called a Swiss Army knife. Remember, different model names and just all the information about the blades and all that kind of stuff. So SAC Wiki. Anyway, this is the Rucksack model. And it's awesome. Look at it. It's a beautiful knife. It's a beautiful color in the classic Swiss Army red. What I love about it is the fact that, look, boom, you got that big blade. This is the bigger size Swiss Army knife, and it locks with a very, there's a little bit of play, but it's pretty solid in your hand. And what's great about the bigger blade is the fact that you can, chop food or prepare sandwiches or like slice a tomato or even put peanut butter or something like that onto bread, and you're going to keep most of that stuff out of the knife. Nothing worse than getting the peanut butter and the tomato and the dirt and the God knows what in here. It's kind of gross, hard to clean, unhygienic, and just a pain in the bum. So with the longer locking blade, that's less likely to happen. And in my opinion, a locking blade is always superior to just a spring-loaded blade, just for safety. Nothing worse than cutting your finger or getting a gash or something like that when you're out in the boonies, and that's something that is just going to spoil your experience, really. Anyway, so this particular knife, the Rucksack, the one I've got anyway, I release these with this button on the side. You just push it like that and back in you go. Some of them have a liner lock here, which I don't really like as much, but it might work for you. Okay, so the next thing on this knife would be the saw. And what a great saw it is. It's really sharp, really useful. And you can cut through, quite a thick piece of wood. Maybe, I don't know, whatever that works out to be, 3 inches or something like that. You could probably get through a 3-inch branch if you really wanted to, maybe a bit more. I'm not sure, but it's a great one. The teeth are really good and it works really well. Make sure you saw in line with the blade. If you're going to be doing this kind of thing or prizing anything open, it might snap or bend, so don't do that. Just use a bit of common sense and it's going to be great. Okay, the next thing in this knife, which is really awesome, would be the bottle opener. And that has the larger flathead screwdriver, of course, which also is good for prizing things open. Again, if you don't put too much pressure on, it's not going to break. And this little thing here is a wire stripper. And I've used that and it works amazingly well. Perfect, in fact. It was so easy, it worked perfectly. And then I, twisted the ends, the copper ends of the wire, and reconnected it, and everything was great. So that's another nice little thing to know about. And the next tool that's kind of really important when you're out in the bush is to be able to open a can, make a tuna sandwich or something like that. So, and So that's great, and it works really well, like all Victorinox stuff. That little thing on the end, that little nibby thing, that little nose, that's a screwdriver. And obviously it's flat, but it works just as well on a Phillips head too. So you've got a flathead and a Phillips head screwdriver on your knife, which is brilliant. Nothing short of excellent. Okay, let me take you to the back. So here's the corkscrew, which I must admit is probably not that useful unless you drink a lot of wine. I don't know how much wine you're going to drink out camping, but you know, you could probably just buy a screw top. So I don't know, some people may use it, some people may not. I have the little mini super cool screwdriver, you know, for glasses and stuff that I put in the back there. And that's really awesome. You've got to buy that separately, but it's only a couple of bucks. Okay. And the other thing on the back, if I can just get it out, I'm not, is what's called the awl by some people. This is actually meant to be countersinking screws. So you just jab it in there and keep turning, and you cut a nice little hole in wood. You keep moving it around, and it's a perfect little hole to countersink a screw so you don't split the wood. And again, it works perfectly, absolutely perfectly. Now, because it's got such a nice sharp edge and end, you could use it for other things too, like prizing things out, or just, you know, making a hole, or there's lots of things you could do with that. It's a very useful little tool. And of course, when you hold it like that, you know, you've got a very good grip on it. Okie doke. The next thing is the toothpick. You couldn't have a Swiss Army knife with a toothpick. And the little tweezers. Now the tweezers are great for taking out splinters on the trail, obviously, and little things like that. But also, I found that they have another purpose that I've never heard anywhere else. And that is you can tighten or loosen a valve, an air valve in a Schrader tire. So whether you're a cyclist or even a motorist, because a Schrader valve is the same on bike tires and cars, you can slot it in to the little valve, and you can undo the valve itself or tighten it if it's loose. So, you know, if your bike tires are going down a wee bit and there's no puncture, it might be the valve, and you can tighten it with this and you can be on your way. So I think that's pretty awesome. Anyway, so some people think that this knife's a little bit too big because, you know, it's a little bit longer than your typical Swiss Army knife. I can assure you it's not that big. It fits into your pocket really well. It slots in there. It's not very heavy. This model is only just over 100 grams. I think it's 103 or something, which is about, I don't know, 3 and a bit ounces. It's not heavy. It's something you can carry around very easily. I use it for camping. I don't carry around all day or anything like that. So anyway, the next model up from this one, the rucksack, is called the Outrider, and it has all these blades, plus it has an inline Phillips head screwdriver and scissors, which are very useful and very cool and something that you're going to use. A lot of people would really use it. The reason why I didn't buy that one, and I got this slightly slimmer version, is because I also use this knife. This is my kind of EDC knife, or the one I carry around on my keychain, and it's called the Classic. It's tiny, it's awesome, and it's very, very useful. It's 20 grams in weight, which is less than an ounce. It's about 3/4 of an ounce, and it has everything else that the next model, the Outrider, would have. It's got the scissors and a really good little blade, and this is the nail file, also with an inline screwdriver. So this little end is perfect for both flat and Phillips screws. It works perfectly. It's a great little screwdriver. And of course, you've got more tweezers and toothpicks. So Okay, so that's the one I carry every day if I need scissors or a little inline screwdriver. This is the one I carry when I'm out doing the outdoorsy thing, and it's awesome. And I'll just show you one more thing. If you don't want to carry it in your pocket because it's too big, you can get this little nylon sheath. Now it's not as nice as say leather, but it's very lightweight, and the knife fits into it like that. It velcros down, and you stick it on your belt, and hey presto. This is what I do with it, just to add a little bit of extra goodness. I have a fire steel that I put this string on myself and glued it on there. So it's got like I can now put it onto my keychain, or I can clip it onto a carabiner if I want to keep it secure. So the fire steel just slots in there. And my wife bought me this beautiful little flashlight called the Mighty Mini Light, or the Mighty Micro Light, something like that. Anyway, it's super, super bright. You can't really see it now because it's, I've got the light on, but if you're plunged into darkness and this is all you have, it's going to be the difference between being able to see and not. So I just keep that in here. I just keep it slotted in there like that, close it down, and this whole package weighs about, I don't even know, 140 grams or something. Not very much. Not very much at all. 12. How many ounces is that? 4 or 5 ounces. Great. Okay, so that is my review of the Victorinox Rucksack Swiss Army knife. I think it's a classic, and I think you should get one.